Ask the Expert, brought to you by Auger Hollingsworth.
And it is time now for Ask the Expert with Auger Hollingsworth. Of course, you can call us in live on air, 613-789-6559, extension 2803. You can also send us an email, yourmorningottawa@ctv.ca. And Brenda, today we are talking about statutory accident benefits. So let's first talk about what exactly that is.
Right. So statutory accident benefits have a lot of different names.
Okay.
Called accident benefits, ABs, SABs, no-fault benefits. All of those mean the same thing.
Okay.
And what they are is benefits that are attached to everybody's car insurance policy in Ontario. So if you have an accident, even if you're at fault, you're entitled to certain things automatically. And most important for most people is things like physio.
Okay.
Like there's a fund that's available to you, even if you cause the accident, where you can get physio, chiro, psychology, occupational therapy. If your clothes are damaged in the accident, you can get them repaired. There's an income replacement. It's pretty small. It's $400 a week. But for some people, that'll make the difference between groceries and not, and a bunch of other benefits. And so it's there, and you should ask for it.
And do a lot of people just not know that it is available to them, especially if they cause the accident, like you mentioned?
Right. So most people find out about it when they call to report that their car is damaged.
Okay.
The insurance company is supposed to say, by the way, is anybody injured? And here are these benefits. But there's a group of people who never call, which is the people who don't have liability cover or collision coverage to fix your car, or if you hit a pedestrian or you hit a cyclist and maybe your car's not damaged, but maybe you have significant psychological injuries, or if you are that pedestrian or that cyclist, you might not think to call your car insurance. Your car's in the driveway. So there's a lot of people that just never get told.
Okay, and do you think that sometimes people, especially when they are at fault, are almost afraid to say they're injured because they're trying to protect themselves?
Yeah, trying to make it sound like the injury or the accident's not a big deal and stuff. But the truth is, you know, you should access these benefits. You have paid for them since 1996. You've been paying for these benefits, so you should access them.
And are there mistakes that people make when they're applying for accident benefits?
Yeah, so the form they give you to fill out, whether you do it online or you do it on paper, it's not the most straightforward.
Okay.
There's a little tiny box that asks you to describe the accident and all of your injuries. And it's just like, use an extra piece of paper. Don't think you have to cram everything into that box. And make sure you list every single body part that hurts. Not just your major injuries, because sometimes your minor injuries over time become what stays. And so people sometimes, you know, yeah, my knee hurts, but, you know, I've got a broken wrist, so I'm going to write about the broken wrist, but actually your knee is what's going to last. So every body part, head to toe, even if it's just a bruise or a scrape, put it on the sheet.
Ask the Expert, brought to you by Auger Hollingsworth.
And of course, if you have questions for Auger Hollingsworth, you can call them at 613-233-4529. You can also send them an email, info@ahinjurylaw.com. They're also their website, ahinjurylaw.com as well. And Brenda is joining us again today as we are talking about statutory accident benefits. And we were talking a lot about different mistakes that people make, including doctors. They can make mistakes on forms as well.
Yeah, so there's a form that your doctor fills out. It's called a disability certificate. And you know, doctors are rushed and they don't have a lot of time and they want to fill out the form for you, but they want to do it quickly. And so often you will get a sheet where they write the body part and not really what's wrong with it, or, you know, they might say ankle sprain, but they don't talk about the fact that there's also nerve damage. And the type of injury you have impacts how much your benefits are. So if you have a minor injury, it's $3,500. If you have a regular injury, it's $65,000.
Wow.
So the difference that your doctor makes in filling out that form is really important. So when you go to the doctor, you look at that form before you leave. And if it doesn't say things like headache, nerve damage, stuff that you know you have, ask the doctor to put it down,
Okay.
because it's very hard to fight your way out of that minor injury if your doctor has put you in there. And your doctor doesn't know, right? Your doctor
Right.
doesn't know why they're filling out the form or what difference does it make. They're not doing it on purpose. They're just in a rush.
And can people bypass the doctor and go straight for physio chiro if they know what they need?
So you can do that technically, but it is risky because chiropractors, physiotherapists are probably going to, again, inadvertently, accidentally put you in the minor injury,
Okay.
right? Because they are not diagnosing your nerve damage or your psychological problems that take you out of the minor injury. So if it's possible, you should go to your doctor to get that disability form filled out.
And what mistakes do people make when they're talking about income replacement?
Yeah, so income replacement, like I said, it's $400 a week, tax-free though. And the big mistake people make is that they don't think about all of their income. So maybe they have an employer and they get the employer to fill out the form, but they also have a side hustle.
Right.
Or maybe they had a couple of jobs over the last calendar year and they only get their most recent employer to fill out the form. That could impact whether you get the full 400 or less. And if you do have a lawsuit, if you mess up the income replacement benefits, it can mess up aspects of your lawsuit. So it's important to take the time to give the insurance company all the information.
And what happens if people think they're filling everything out and they still get denied? Can that still happen?
Yeah, you can get denied. And really, I mean, if you hire a personal injury lawyer, we will look at your forms, we'll help you. But if you get denied, that's often when people call us for the first time because they've asked for something, their own insurance company has denied it, and then we can fight it. There's a whole tribunal dedicated to fighting these battles. It's called the Licensed Appeal Tribunal, and we go all the time for people.
I was going to ask you, is it too late for people who get denied? There's something that they can't do about
There's
it?
a 2-year time period, right? So 2-year limitation period. So if you're in that window and you've been denied, you can give us a call.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
joining us today, Brenda. And we just want to remind you how you can get a hold of Brenda. They're at ahinjurylaw.com. You can also call them 613-233-4529. info@ahinjurylaw.com is their email address.